Unit 6, Welsh place names, in English or in Welsh.
Now, Newport or Casnewydd, Swansea or Abertawe, both place names with identifiable English and Welsh versions. But if the difference is marginal, like Caerphilly or Merthyr Tydfil, should they simply be known by the Welsh name? Well, that is the view of those supporting a petition which has been presented to the Senedd. They say it's a matter of respect for Welsh history. And the Welsh Language Minister, Jeremy Miles, has said there is a strong argument for using just the Welsh in some cases. Aled Schofield reports.
Is it Abercraf or Abercrave? Should it be Llandewi Felfrey or Llandewi Felfre? And are there two M's in Bryn Aman or just one? Is there any way of finally settling the debate? A petition presented to the Senedd calls for the use of only Welsh names for places in Wales. The Welsh Language Minister, Jeremy Miles, says there's a strong argument for using just the Welsh version where differences are minimal with the English name. The man behind the petition says it's about giving proper respect to the language.
It does touch sensitive subjects, and that's why my petition isn't really based on trying to put one over the other. Just a matter of trying to bring about some form of unity among place names and bringing a making of Welsh language culture more present to people.
Here in Pembrokeshire, there are plenty of examples of place names spelled differently in English and Welsh. Take Llandyssilio, for example. This is the English language version, spelt with an I and two S's, but in Welsh it's spelt with a Y and one S. And just a stone's throw away from Llandyssilio, you have the village of Llynderwen, spelt with a U in Welsh, but commonly spelt with a Y in English. One local resident who's lived in both villages says he supports just using the Welsh names.
Llandyssilio, for instance, the church, the saint is Tysilio, therefore it has to be a Y. Llynderwen, well, you ask them, do they want a Y or a U? But one name would be helpful, especially with the government's target of 1 million Welsh speakers.
We asked people in St Clair's, whether they back just using one name for the town.
I agree with that. St Clair it should be, and one name, and that's fine.
I think it's important to keep both, just because it's multicultural. There's a lot of English people that live in St Clair's, so it's brilliant that it's St Clair because we are in Wales, but also it needs to be St Clair's as well, in my opinion.
We're in Wales, so St Clair is St Clair.
Any changes should be assessed carefully, according to experts.
Swansea and Abertawe is a perfect example of a place which has two names which have come from different backgrounds, and I think it's perfectly sensible for us to continue to use those two names. However, we do have a lot of places where there's only one letter of difference in how we spell them in English and Welsh. And in those cases, I think it's perfectly reasonable for us to use the Welsh spelling of a place.
Supporters of the petition say change is long overdue, but in some communities, it could prove controversial.